back, viewers of Equinoxe Television. It's time for the news. We thank you so much for always according us your time. My name is Anna Bilaleke. We begin right away with our major stories tonight. Fear and panic now reigns in Mato. Mato is a village not far from Kumba in the Meme division of the southwest region of the country. This is after over 100 youths were arrested by security forces, among them handicapped persons and ferries to Kumba for questioning. Why were these last arrested? We will be telling you more in this edition of the news. Plus, today women in Cameroon are commemorating the International Day for the Rights of Women. It is coming within a context of poverty, high cost of living, plus insecurity across the national territory. Women in Cameroon say they have other priorities than feasting on the 8th of March. Those are our major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Welcome back, viewers. We thank you so much for always according us your time every 6 p.m. for the news in the English language. We just told you in the headlines on rather sad note, fear and fury now reigns among the people of Mato. Mato is a village not far from Kumba in the Meme division of the southwest region after several youths were arrested by security forces and taken to Kumba for questioning. The reasons behind the massive arrest is still a mystery, as Smart Jikan Gabriel tells us in the report which comes up next.
Premises of the Kumba Central Prison in Meme division are family members of over 100 persons who were arrested during a military raid in Mato village recently. They have come to see their kids and ask for their release. A father who witnessed the incident told Equinoxe Television what happened. It was on Thursday morning that the military raided Mato. They gathered all of us at the central spot without beating anyone. At the central spot, mothers, fathers, and the youths were separated. When they took the young men away, they told us they will be at Ikiliwindi, only for them to be transferred to Kumba. Amongst the young men arrested are teachers, deaf and dumb, alongside mentally sick people. I was in the farm, and on my return, I was informed that my child has been arrested. Since I delivered my child at the age of 1, he went mentally sick. During this visit to the Kumba Central Prison, an elite of Mato village based in Kumba said the military was in Mato village as they went in search for a certain General Black Rapun. I called the divisional officer of Konye, who summoned a crisis meeting last Friday to know the actual position of those who were taken. We first of all went to the 1st Battalion, where they told us a certain General Black Rapun is living in Mato. Reasons for their raids. Everyone is worried, but the administration is best placed to decide who is innocent.
No big administration, maybe a selection, maybe do their checking and also they are competent. They be able to select who be who are. Since we had this struggle, they don't know who be who and who no be who.
After the arrest of the over 100 young men in Mato, the village that has been steadily regaining steam with people returning is now scanty again, with very few people left, as a majority is reported to have gone into the bush to hide.
And now salaries of civil servants and also the military have witnessed an increase of 5.2% since the month of February. Workers' trade unions on their part in Cameroon decry the fact that workers of the private sector are not benefiting from the recent increase of salaries stipulated in a decree signed by the head of state, President Paul Biya. According to them, the amount added on the salaries is very small and can't help Cameroonians effectively contain the recent inflation. Immaculate Fogwe completes the story for us.
Presidential decree dated March 6, 2023 assures civil servants of a 5.2% salary increase as from the month of March. The decision to increase the salaries alongside the minimum wage from 37,000 to 41,875 francs comes after the drastic increase of the prices of basic commodities, including fuel. According to the government, the move is meant to address rising inflation in the country. Reacting to this decision, workers' trade unionists decry the fact that nothing has been done for the private sector as workers continue to receive menial salaries.
Le SMIC, c'est un salaire plancher à tous les secteurs d'activité.
Every Cameroonian is supposed to benefit from the minimum wage rate. It's not only for civil servants. The recent increase has not been noticed on the salaries of employees of the private sector. Even the 41,875 francs is so small. A young boy who just completed university and now working, even without a wife, is unable to cope with that amount. Imagine him paying rents and he equally has to feed himself. How does he cope?
Pour qu'il ouvre une chambre, il aille au marché, il paye le transport, tout et tout. Il faut au moins 60 000.
Questioning a CEO based in the city of Douala, he says he is aware of the increase of the minimum wage, but the situation at hand does not permit them to increase the salaries of their employees.
Le décret signé par le président de la République, c'est une bonne chose.
The initiative of increasing the salaries of workers is a good one, but in the private sector it is really difficult to implement the decision. Small companies like us, we are still facing difficulties trying to make money. The problem is not about increasing the salaries. We can do so, but for how long can we continue paying the salaries? We might pay 1 or 2 months and later we'll start talking of arrears. The government should intervene by reducing taxes and ease access to finance and equally make the country favorable for business.
Mais l'idée n'est pas d'augmenter les salaires pour tenir sur 1 ou 2 mois, c'est de pouvoir tenir sur la durée.
Employees of the private sector are urging the government to intervene so they can better increase their purchasing power.
And now we talk the International Women's Day. Viewers, women in Cameroon join others internationally to commemorate the 38th edition of the International Women's Day today. And most women in Cameroon, especially those in Tombe, are complaining of the high rate of insecurity, poverty, and other vices they are facing. Let's now have more about the situation there with our reporter, Lucy Riengo is here.
The youths of Kupe-Manenguba division, predominantly females, say since the start of the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, they have been facing difficulties. Most of them who are specialized in livestock and agriculture complain they are still struggling to regain their activities. To solve this problem, the youths of Tombel and Kupe-Manenguba in general, during a seminar, have been educated on how they can market their goods through social networks.
Objective of this program is to give the youths of Tombel hard skills, hard digital skills that they can use to create jobs for themselves, that they can use to employ themselves online. The goal is to enable them sell internationally. The market today is international. Today people from different countries buy from people in other countries. So they can use social media to generate revenue. They can use social media to make money.
You have a farm of plantain and you want to sell. And now you have to snap that plantain or use your phone to sell that plantain, even in Yaoundé. In Yaoundé, they buy in Douala, they buy anywhere, if and only if you have posted it and you have customers. They'll start asking you, especially when you have posted and your number is under.
The youths of Tombe wish the training will reduce the high rate of unemployment and help them to be economically empowered.
And still talking about the 38th edition of the International Women's Day, most women seem to be drifting from the extravagance which used to characterize previous celebrations of the International Women's Day to now a very responsible way of doing it. Women in Melong in the Mongo division were taught how to make money through digitalization or the social media. Let's now have more with Magic and Gabriel.
Tailors in the town of Melon say their business has witnessed a fluctuation because many women have lost interest in acquiring the Women's Day fabric.
We don't have no work. Just look how the house is dry. Then the women's wrapper, maybe 2 years ago, it cost 6,500. Now it's 13,000 francs. So customer don't have money to buy the material also.
As a result of the difficulties faced by these women, a timid turnout was recorded during the launch of activities to mark this year's celebration of the International Women's Day in Melong, Mongo division of the Littoral region. These women say the hardship is having a negative impact on them.
Nowadays, things are very hard. Some women are always struggling to earn a living now. We don't do it as we used to do it because we had the anxiety at first to do it, to maintain our dignity as a woman. But nowadays, some women want to do it, but they don't have the means, especially transportation, or as somebody like me I'm doing transformation, I don't have the means to transform those things. So it becomes very difficult.
At the occasion, the divisional officer of Melong, Biko Alain Bless, told the women to make good use of the social media platform. We've urged the women to make use of the social media responsibly and asked them to profit from the advantages one can get from social media to expose their products. The 38th edition of the International Women's Day will be celebrated under the theme Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality.
Happy Women's Day to all the women out there. And now we talk culture. About 12 Cameroonian artists have been suspended by the Cameroon musical industry. Sonacam over what it qualifies as gross negligence and undisciplined behaviors. While some have been slammed years of suspension, others have been expelled from their positions and demoted to membership. This was during an extraordinary General Assembly of the structure aimed at ensuring its smooth functioning this 2023. Our reporter Innocent Aze tells us more.
To ensure the smooth running of the Cameroon Society of Musical Arts, Sonacam, this 2023, the February 28th Extraordinary General Assembly of the structure decided to sanction several undisciplined members of Sonacam, as well as to definitively separate from certain members of the board of directors, having been guilty of gross negligence. For the first case, the organization specifies that these are decisions related to the presence or not within it of certain artists. Thus, several of them were suspended, demoted, or excluded by disciplinary measures. Those with the disciplinary sanctions on their heads are Jean-Pierre Esome, slammed a 3-year suspension, Ledo Marcelin, suspended for 2 years and demoted to membership, Getty Le Rapocrat, suspended for 3 years, Ebum Makosa, suspended for 2 years, Ashir Mbanga, expelled from the supervisory board and replaced by His Majesty, Eko Reserved, Dinali, excluded from the ethics committee and replaced by Pastor Eric Ndongo. The second case surrounds definitive radiation concerning certain members of the administrative top of the organization. They are Ama Pierrot, Charlene Nelly, D.S. Binta, Mbala Ongba, Isidore Bonimbala, and Katino. According to a press release made public at the end of the sessions, the radiation pronounced by the Board of Directors against Serge Rafik Rashid as member of the Board of Directors and Vice President of the said board was ratified by the General Assembly. Though this set of decisions, Sonacam intends to guide the Cameroonian musical arts towards a new trajectory, the objective of which is to make the profession shine responsibly.
In other news, the Ministries of Employment and Vocational Training and Secondary Education are stepping efforts to close the wide gap existing between training and employment in Cameroon, a project being executed by both ministries expected to enhance training and the employability of trainees. Babila Jonathan has more.
Hundreds of thousands of students graduate from public and private higher institutions of learning in Cameroon every year, but a great number of them are either unemployed or underemployed. This is attributed to what some educationists qualify as an archaic educational system being implemented by government authorities in charge of education at all levels. To the Ministries of Secondary Education and Employment and Vocational Training the Secondary Education and Competence for Growth and Employment Support Project is the solution.
This is something which will help us to change the mindset of the young people of Cameroon. And we are taking the education sector, which, as you saw from the head of state's speech, is the most important thing, is the capital thing today. Because today we cannot sit down, see the children all unemployed while we are happy that the country is going ahead.
Cameroon's Employment and Vocational Training Minister, Issa Chiruma Bakari, says
la formation continue et l'apprentissage.
The program will enhance training from the basic to the highest level.
C'est pour financer les établissements.
Improve on the teaching and learning conditions in schools and other training centers across the country.
Le PADES a décidé également de s'attaquer au secteur informel.
And provide qualified labor for the informal sector.
And now we talk something else. The sociological composition of Cameroon is one of the reasons public manifestations hardly go through across the national territory. Experts say the plurality in Cameroon has instead been used as an arm to silence Cameroonians from public manifestations. A reporter for me, Armstrong Sander, has more.
It's with generalized hardship, sustained increase in the prices of basic necessities, heightened corruption as are noted for complaining behind closed doors and languishing in silence, a veritable paradox of an acclaimed democratic society, sharply contradictory to realities of democratic societies in Europe, America and elsewhere in Africa, inspired by results achieving peaceful protest demonstrations like End SARS in Nigeria, the Arab Spring and the ongoing Gilets jaunes in France. Observers have sustained curiosity on the for and the against factors in other societies like Cameroon.
Each time the Cameroon government fails to understand the language or the cry of the citizens and the youth in particular, they will employ force, so that force dispel the idea of the people. And you will understand that from time to time it becomes very difficult because the youth themselves are very dispersed. Why are they dispersed? One, the government has used the intimidation arm, it has succeeded. The government has used the method of buying over the consciences of the youth, it has succeeded. The government has used the divide and rule policy, which of course is the most effective. That explains exactly why, if this morning we decide that we have to go out on the street to march or to protest, you will discover that by noon the government is already aware. Who is informing this government official? When you hear youths of a particular tribe calling others les graphies, it drives down that spirit of frustration in other youths. And you see that with that spirit of frustration, the divide and rule policy keeps sinking and sinking, and it keeps succeeding. And it's succeeding to the advantage of the government and not to the advantage of the youth.
Unlike Ndiwum Emmanuel, civil society actor Pascal Fomen says the historical reality of Cameroon cannot be separated from whatever is expected of Cameroon.
The slavery time and the colonization that follow, one of the worst things that happened to Africa is the culture was destabilized. And for me, that's a big problem. Because when we come about talking our issue, we always compare ourselves to European or more stabilized countries like France, the States, United States, and their values. We have to look at our own values. When you talk the issue of Gilets jaunes, you are talking about really. These guys have achieved great. Maybe many people don't even know that. Just at the origin even of those Gilets jaunes, it is a black girl, it's a black lady. From 1945 to falling in 2021, this is one of the achievements of the Gilets jaunes in Paris for the ENA de Paris. And what happened, usually the truth behind that is that the medium class and the small class now have a say. That happened in France. Let us not take those results and come just back to Africa and think we'll just implement them the same way.
Both, however, agree on the role played by the vast sociological composition of Cameroon on how things are perceived by countrymen.
Now, when we come back to our home, anything that originates like that, you'll have divisions, tribal division, and all the sectarian division. We haven't reached that level. We need to get own ideas, because building a man is building first the mental, the culture of the man.
Pascal Formel further says Cameroon and Cameroonians need time to effectively invest in human development. This development and education can be formal or informal, but should be centered on the love for common and not individual or tribal good, the love for nation, and effective separation of power between the arms of the government, and a veritable reconciliation between the common and the ruling class.
And now we talk about post-electoral crisis in Nigeria. The Court of Appeal in Abuja is set to rule on the application filed by the Independent National Elections Commission, INEC, seeking to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system it used to conduct the 2023 presidential elections of Saturday, February 27, 2023. Mala Glory completes the story for us.
The legal team of Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, a party in the suit, moved a motion requesting the court not to allow INEC to tamper with the evidence in the matter going to the Presidential Election Tribunal. Report says, following Wednesday court ruling, Obi's legal team include at least 12 senior advocates of Nigeria, and more are still signing up. Obi's legal team had argued that the data on the PVS contained the substance of the Labour Party's presidential candidate's case against INEC's unlawful manipulation of the February 25th elections results and process. Obi's lawyers questioned the motives of INEC to be so hasty to compromise the principal evidence of the election umpire's fraudulent manipulation of the election's results. In its response, the electoral body argued that it will transfer the data on the beavers to a backup server. INEC wishes to clean up the beavers for conducting the governorship and state legislative elections billed for Saturday, March 11, 2023. The case is being heard by a three-person Court of Appeal panel headed by Justice Joseph Ikek. The future of Nigeria's democracy has come under scrutiny following the conduct of a flawed presidential election by INEC, in which the electoral body declared the unpopular candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the ruling All Progressive Congress the winner. The three main opposition parties, Labour Party, People Democratic Party, and the New Nigeria People's Party, have all rejected the election results announced by INEC.
Thank you, Glory. 23 minutes past 6 p.m. by studio clocks. That does it for the first part of the news, viewers. Don't go away. Talking Points comes up next. Welcome back, viewers. So our guest tonight is a lady. Today we are talking about the commemoration of the International Day for the Rights of Women. So my guest is a lady. She is a mom and also a leader. She is Efeti Lisinge. Efeti, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. We are talking about the 38th edition of the International Day for the Rights of Women, not only in Cameroon but across the world. And now, can you tell us, how do you perceive the celebration or commemoration of the International Day for the Rights of the Women nowadays?
Thank you, Anne, for receiving me on your show on Equinoxe TV. I think Women's Day today is a day where women are more focused on concentrating, brainstorming, reflecting on the rights of the women in the society in general, but more especially on the kind of society they want for their children. I think we have evolved in just looking at the right of the woman, but we are going more further to see how this right of the woman can improve the society. So I think this time women are going deep than just looking at the rights of a woman.
And now, Madame Efeti, we have noticed recently that women are gradually drifting from the extravagance which used to characterize the commemoration of the International Women's Day. They seem to be more sensitized now, and the celebration is becoming more mature and responsible. What's your apprehension of that? What can account for that drift in behavior?
You know, times are hard. So many things have happened these past years. I think there's been a lot of sensibilization on women on how to celebrate this day. And there are some role models that have come up that women are looking up to. And from these women, they have seen other things rather than just going out and drinking and dancing. So it is more responsible. Women are now more responsible, focusing on the more important things that women can contribute to, rather than just going out there and drinking and making noise.
And when you say women focus now on more important things, FT the singer, what more important things can you be talking about?
More importantly now is looking at our homes, the morals that we have, that we as women, we have to bring to our society. The morals that we women, I can say because of the evolution, the being out there a lot, we had neglected. But these days, women, we are going back to our roots as women, our roles as mothers, as a girl child, and we are more focused these days on trying to bring back what a woman should really be doing in the society.
And now you should also be, you're a leader, to the best of my knowledge. You work in your work environment. I want you to share with other women who are watching us out there. How does it happen, you being a woman and also a leader? Do you have some issues working with the men?
Where I work, we have, I can't say we have gender issues. Whether you're a man or you're a woman, we are a team, we are a tribe. We are one family, so it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, we all have equal chances. And so the women they are motivated. Women, we don't feel like we are pushed back. We are able to express ourselves freely. We take the challenges as they come. We know that we can do it. So UBA gives us a lot of training. First, as women, we have small talk groups for women to encourage us to know that we can do it. So yes, I think women, we should prove ourselves with what we can do, not because you are a woman or a man. I think if you do your work well, anything you do, whatever it is you're doing, whether you are the cleaner in the office or you are selling your tomatoes in the market, if you do it well, you will shine. You don't need a man to tell you that what you're doing is fine. So I think women in other situations, in other workplaces, environments, should focus on giving their best. We, as women, I think we are graced with abilities that men don't have. It's just we really don't know that we have those abilities. So we should find in us that plus that we have been graced with and make the men, they will see it. We don't need to tell them. If you shine, if you do well, you will be seen. Yes.
Now, have there been some instances where you have had to have a brawl somehow with a man because you're a woman and a leader, and it was like, why should she be the one who is at the forefront?
Well, men will always look at why a woman, you know, so I don't limit myself to what a man will think about what I have to do. And in situations where I've been given the opportunity, I always make sure I do my best and do the work, do my tasks to the best, so that I don't leave room for the talk of because it's a woman, they have given the job. No. So I think if you're faced in a situation where men are criticizing or they are complaining, just do your best. Do your best and shut their mouth.
And now the same for this 38th edition of the International Women's Day is talking about digitalization and technology. I don't know, how can women get more into technology for their own benefit? And
so to everybody, I think just the fact today that we all have WhatsApp. Even the mother in the market or back in the village, everybody today has WhatsApp. So digitalization has come to make what seemed to be far away to become closer. So we are able to reach people who are far. You are able to see somebody who is out there as if your person is talking to you. It's the same way you are able to move your money from one place to another. I'm sitting with you now today with some of the digital products we have. So digitalization is something that we should not be afraid of. We just need to open up, and we'll see that it makes lives very easy for all of us. So that mother who is sitting in the market, she too can do it. She doesn't need to have a laptop or a computer right there in the market. She's able to do it. She can work with her next neighbor, do a transfer. As we know, these days we see them in the market, they do their collections. They come and they have their small book, take your 100, and they don't need those things anymore. They just need to create a group for themselves with an account, and everybody, you sit there, while you're sitting there, you're pushing your 100, and at the end of the day, they all have their money where it needs to be, and it's safer rather than that book that somebody is carrying around that can get missing in between the way. So.
And now, FT the singer, like I mentioned earlier on, you are a leader and also a mom. So how do you manage the two, being a leader at work and also fulfilling all your motherly duties at home? How do you manage the both?
Okay, truly I will say it's not easy, but you know, as a mother and then as head of operations, you have to make the balance. It's not always easy to do that balance, but it is vital, because if you're sick at home, you will be sick in the office. And so we try as much as possible. I personally, I am blessed because I am gracefully surrounded by a family that is warm and understand my work. But I try as much as possible not to carry work home. I mean, it's a deal I have with my son that on Sundays you don't work. But I still have to keep in touch, because with the kind of job we have, you should also be updated. I want to make sure that my customers also are safe, my ATMs are working, and they are not offline. So in between, I think you bring your family is the best support system you can have in a situation like this, especially with the kind of work that we do, which you need to be really focused. And if you don't have peace of mind, you discover one morning that instead of the 100,000 that you needed to send out, you have sent out the 100 million. So we try, I lean a lot on my family.
And now, being a leader and a woman, so many women, young girls, and also people of your generation are watching you out there. What advice can you give to them so as to be able to balance life and work, and how they can be able to push and make it in life?
Well, as a woman, then as a mother, I want to tell our fellow women that the society depends on us to be better. So we should not relent on the challenges that we may face. Let us take every challenge as a stepping stone to move to a better society that we are trying to build. So let's not give up on these challenges that we have. And men, they are not our competitors. You know, they are our support system also. So we are supposed to complement each other, support each other. So it's not we don't fight them. We don't need to fight them. We just have to work hand in hand together for a better society.
Thank you, Efeti Disinge, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. And once again, we wish a happy Women's Day to all the hardworking and focused women out there. Viewers, we thank you so much for always being there. Don't go away. As usual, our programs continue in about 30 minutes. Your program Equinoxe and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.